Hope you're having a wonderful day. It is Monday, March 22nd. I am in a vehicle at a job site, and I'm happy to be here to talk to you guys. Let me tell the Discord. Let me let the Discord know. So, all right, there it is. We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and joining me. Thank you for watching this VOD. Make sure you guys join that Discord community that I just talked about. I forgot to do these plugs in the beginning of the last one. So join that Discord community so you can be part of something fun and big, or you can make friends. We can all be friends with each other. And make sure you guys subscribe to my podcast, Tabletop Cyberpunk, where I do interviews and talk about cyberpunk, war stories, everything. I mean, it's just more cyberpunk for your ears and your commute. And make sure you guys follow me on social media at JonJonTheWise. Everywhere you can find me, JonJonTheWise. That's the magic word to find me. And I'm absolutely humbled by the Patreon folks. And speaking of Patreon folks, Neelis Astalon, what's going on, dude? The beard is getting really bushy. I gotta tame it a little bit. And gosh darn, we got another fiver from the chat. Twiggy, I appreciate. Oh, look, it's John. Get a coffee. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it, man. Speaking of another Patreon gangster, Chumba, Edge Runner. Actually, no, you are Cyberpunk. Is it? It's Edge Runner, then Cyberpunk, then Cyber Psycho. I think so. You're a Cyberpunk. You're in that tier. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys join that Patreon if you want to show me some support, some love, and just to say thank you for all the things. And yeah, that's the best way you can support me. I am absolutely humbled by the love that I've been getting. What's up, Roland? How you doing? What's up, everybody? Piling in, get in here. Everybody get in here. Bronx, what's going on? Man, did I miss you this stream? No, I just started. You just made it. All right? This is perfect. You got the ground floor. Strength DF. How you doing? Howdy to you too. Welcome. Hope you guys have some fun questions so we can do some chatting. I am currently working on a video for Foundry Virtual Tabletop. It's going to be like an overview video of like how you can like what Cyberpunk Red and the Foundry Virtual Tabletop scene is like. I'm kind of like deeply ingrained in it. So that's my next video. I've already shot it. I'm editing it. I think tonight the Patreon folks will get it, and then the day after, maybe tomorrow midday, or maybe the day after that, I'll release it for public. And yeah, so there it is. Who is your favorite president? Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho, and why is it? If for those of you that are not part of the Discord community, we've been quoting Idiocracy because we've realized that it is a cyberpunk movie. It's a cyberpunk dystopia, and it totally makes sense. It's such a crazy movie. That movie has become a documentary. It's really weird. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna. All right, I'm back. I don't know what the hell just happened. Let me know if everything is all good, guys. For some reason, it disconnected, and now I'm reconnected. Hey, man, I'm new to RPGs and Cyberpunk, especially, and binge watching your content. Great work, dude. Thank you so much, Adtoli. I really appreciate the support. I'm glad that I can be able to help you in that sense, man. It's I have a lot of heroes in the YouTube community that do the same kind of stuff, and I'm pretty much just emulating them. So if I'm helpful to you, then that's awesome. Good morning, Stephen Odinson. Welcome. And yeah, Idiocracy is wild. Yeah, I think we're back, guys. Let me know in chat, thumbs up or whatever, high five, finger guns, whatever you like. Let me know that we're all good. I don't know what's going on with the. This is what happens when you do Cyberpunk in the car. You go to locations where Ziggurat does not have their cell towers, right? So here we go. I'm excited to see this Forge video. I've learned more about it before we play it on our Patreon game. Yeah, Foundry. It's actually Foundry VTT It's really confusing because the my Foundry game is hosted on a website called Forge VTT, but we're playing on a software called Foundry VTT. Completely super confusing. But the software we're using is called Foundry. That's all you got to know. But yeah, I really truly think it's going to be the future for Cyberpunk Red Gaming, and I'm really, really hoping that Artel Sorian decides to do official support through Foundry because it's seriously really awesome, man. I know that it's pretty steep as far as its price goes. It's $50 for the Game Master. I think it's completely worth the $50. It's a one-time $50 fee, and if it's a little bit too steep for you and your gaming group, you guys can split the cost and only one of you has to own it. Everybody else can just play for free, and you can give everybody else admin rights too, so they can make their own campaigns and stuff like that too. And yeah, Twiggy, I did. I talked to them. I get into it in the video, but I don't mind talking about it right now. Basically, in the beginning, like in around the Jumpstart Kit era, and around that time, um, they were like, okay, yeah, everybody do whatever homebrew and virtual tabletop stuff you want. We don't care. Have fun. We're just glad that people are playing the game. But as Cyberpunk Red got more popular, and I'm sure that CD Projekt Red's stake in the whole business too, kind of muddied things a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. But after that, they realized like, hey, we got to actually come up with some kind of statement about homebrew content, about virtual tabletops, about who we're gonna give our official license to, so they can make like content for our game. So they haven't decided on that. I'm sure they're talking to their legal team, and basically what Jay told me is they haven't come to a decision yet, and they don't think they're gonna come to a decision very soon. So we shouldn't be holding our breath about it. So that's it. It's kind of an answer that we didn't want, and it's a little bit disappointing, but I think they're just as disappointed with that answer too. They don't like giving us those kinds of answers, but that's basically what they got to do. It's business, man. That's all it is. So we'll see how that ends up. I do know that in the video that I'm going to be releasing soon, I really showcase one team that is doing a really, really good job with their system, and it's not even official, and it looks official. That's how good it is. And if Artel, and they were like, dude, all we're waiting is for Artel Sorian to say like, hey, you guys do the official Cyberpunk Red system for Foundry, and we'll support you. That's all they're literally waiting for, so they can just go like 100% deep into it. This is volunteer work and everything that they've done their own time. These guys are sitting there coding daily, having meetings daily on Trello and GitLab and all that. I mean, they're really working their asses off, and I really hope that we get some kind of official support from Telsorian on it. All right, let's see this chat. I'm happy for them to support any VTT as long as it's not Roll 20. Yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. With all the controversy of Roll 20. Don't get me wrong, Roll 20 has given me hours and hours of fun. It's been a great platform. The fact that it's free and me and my buddies we could just get onto it and play, I mean, that's a big deal. But as far as like further functionality, modernizing the code, making it look better, feel better, it doesn't look like the folks over there at Roll 20 really are interested in doing anything like that. I think they're just like, whatever it is, the way it is, that's how it's going to be. But Foundry is like, no, we want to change the game. We want to start from the ground up and make like a new modern take on the virtual tabletops. And I think they've really succeeded. I know I sound like a shill for Foundry, but Foundry has everything Roll 20 has, and more, plus more, and is better. That's all I can really tell you guys about Foundry. The Patreon game will be the deciding factor for me if I will stick with Roll 20 or go with Foundry. Well, dude, I think you're going to really like it. We're going to get on that Patreon game really soon. They're making sure they don't lose control of their IP. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically what it is. Their IP is I'm sure it's a multitude of things. It's not just that. My conversation with Cody Pondsmith, name drop, he told me that they're shopping around and having meetings, and they want to know like where should they focus their energies on. Astral, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll 20, like there's so many of them out there. They don't know if they should be focusing on one over the other, give this person a license and not that person a license. I don't know. They're really trying to decide. It's hard not to shill for Foundry, to be honest. I know, dude. Once you get into it and you see how easy it is to do everything and the possibilities, because I'm the type of person that loves immersion. I love player experience, I love immersion, and I love making my players feel like, oh, we're about to experience something that we've never experienced before. It's going to be different every time they come to the table to play. It's going to be, what the fuck does John have under his sleeve this time? Like, what's it going to be now? And that's what I pride myself on doing more than anything else. It's just that experience of my players of feeling like they don't know what's going to happen. They have no idea how it's going to go, and they don't know what they're going to see visually, what they're going to hear, what they're all the sights and sounds and feelings, all that stuff is going to be something that they don't know. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I write my own stories, because I want to make sure that no matter what, 1000%, there's no module, there's no adventure path or anything that I'm taking my inspiration from. That way, when you come to the table, it is 100% unique experience for the players that are playing. Fantasy Grounds is actually pretty cool. I've been playing Starfinder with DG Raidride, my net runner. He's been running Fantasy Grounds. It's pretty cool. It's cool. I think it's a little bit confusing, but it's not bad. What do you do when writing a story? Do you listen to music, watch shows that give you motivation, maybe go on walks through the city? Thanks, John. You're preem, Stephen Odinson. So, what do I do when I write stories? Basically, um, I I make sure that I don't write a story unless I'm inspired. If I'm not inspired by something, then I can't really write a story. Forcing it never works. I basically have to, something has to spark my interest, and then I have to explore that concept. Now, it could come from a movie, it could come from another game like Warhammer 40K, it could come from all kinds of places. So, as far as like where I get my inspiration from, it's a multitude of things. But my main inspiration actually comes from my players. They provide me with their life path, and their life path, when you get all of them all together, the chaotic nature of rolling for your life path for one person, one character, there's a million stories you can tell. But imagine if you take 4 or 5 characters and you combine their stories. There's so many, with so many things you can explore, so many avenues. And what I usually like to do is have one big overarching story and then have little side stories of my players mixed into it so they can try to solve whatever mystery is going on or whatever conflict is going on throughout the campaign, while also solving their characters' backstories and enemies and friends and all kinds of cool shit like that. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of ways for me to get inspiration. The best thing you can do is just start writing and not worry about how to write, what to write. Just sit there and just start writing. Write whatever you can. Answer the questions that you can answer. If there's questions you can't answer, skip them. You'll come back to them later. They'll something will spark in your mind, the creativity, and you'll come back to them. But just answer the questions that you can. Like for example, the most recent the big campaign that I'm working on, that my Patreon game is going to be taking place in, that the Wise Guys campaign is going to be taking place in, and possibly open to public games as well. We'll see how that goes along the lines. But basically, I got that inspiration from the core rulebook. I opened up the core rulebook and I read it, and Cyberpunk Red is all about Nomad, the rise of the Nomad and the fall of the corporation. Then I ran the campaign for Baby Beard Media, where we're in the setting of heaven and the Reclaimers. And his game gave me inspiration too, where he's like, hey, what if there was a community of people that were actually good people? They were trying to make a difference. And I'm used to the Cyberpunk 2020 storyline of like you're an ant in on an anthill and the anthill is owned by a corporation, so good luck, you're not going to be able to do anything. But Cyberpunk Red is like, no, no, you're taking some of that control back. And that inspired me completely to write this new setting where there's a nomad encampment and they're trying to help communities around them. And that all came from the core rulebook and some other person and Phil's game of Heaven, Baby Beard Media. Their setting gave me inspiration as well too. So there it is. And as far as all the other like subplots and stuff like that, like I said, life path. I go through my player's life path. Yo, Twiggy, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, dude. I really appreciate you going up to the Cyber Psycho tier. I appreciate everything you do. Best thinkers always think best on the toilet. You know what? Most of the thinking that I do actually is during my drive, like I do a lot of commuting and driving around. So when I'm driving, I like to have thought experiments. That's what it's called. I have a bunch of thought experiments where I just take a subject and I start thinking about it and I explore it and I'm sitting there in silence or listening to a podcast and I'll mute the podcast in my mind while it's still going on. It's like background noise while I try to figure out exactly how I'm going to explore certain aspects of it. Hey, what do you do when the players do what you don't expect? For example, you intend them to go to a house, but instead they just go to a bar. How do you control them while also keeping it free-ish? That's a great question, Zombie Banana. Typically, whenever players decide that they want to do something, I don't resist their decision because uh, I feel like if they've decided that they want to do something, then that means that they have decided, hey, this is what we think is a fun thing to do. And whatever idea you had might be fun, but right now this is what we want to do. And if I try to control that, then I'm basically telling them like, hey, you're playing my game and you have to play my game or else we're not playing. But tabletop gaming is about playing our game, everybody's game. How they want to play it, how I want to play it, how the next guy wants to play it at the table. All of us are like writing this social contract where we're like, hey, we want to make sure that we're playing and having fun in our own way. So if I control where they go and how they interact with the world, then I'm really telling them that they have no decision in how things go. So not true. He totally railroads us. So railroading is one of those things that gets a bad rap because let's say you wanted them to go to like in the example that Zombie says. He said, "What do you do when the players okay, for example, you intend them to go to a house but instead they just go to a bar." So the question is, you got to ask yourself, why did you want your players to go to the house? What were they going to achieve there? What was it over there that they were supposed to interact with that was going to move the plot along? Now, is there any way that you can modify the way that they find the plot device now? Like let's say they were supposed to go to a house because in the house is an office and in the office is a computer. In the computer are schematics to a blueprint to some prototype cyberware from the 2020s that got lost. All right, I just pulled that shit out of my ass. So they decide, nah, we want to go to a bar. Okay, now they're at the bar. Maybe the office in the bar has a computer that has the schematics of the prototype 2020 cyberware. Maybe there's a guy at the bar that brings up a rumor about a house that has the cyberware with the blah 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 blah. Either way, I'm letting my players explore whatever the hell they want to explore and I'm shooing in my plot device without telling them, "Oh no, you can't go to the bar." I don't say you can't go to the bar. I say, "Yeah, sure, you go to the bar. Yeah, sure, you do this and that. And in the meantime, I'm trying to think in my head, okay, how can I shoe in my plot device? How can I get the MacGuffin in their hands? How can I get them to bite on this hook? And I would say the best way, the number one best way to get your players to bite on a plot hook is make sure that somebody in their life path is connected to the plot hook. Somebody that they have as an enemy or a friend is like involved with this thing, and that makes them think like, well, now it's personal. Now it is my business. Most things that happen in Cyberpunk are none of your business. Somebody's getting robbed on the corner of the street. This isn't D&D. We're not out here trying to be heroes unless that's the type of campaign you want to write. But most people are like, yeah, well, whatever. That's city life. You get robbed sometimes. But if that person getting robbed is your sister, your brother, your best friend, or the person that's robbing is an enemy of yours, you're like, you know what? I don't know that person that's getting robbed, and I'm not trying to save them. I'm actually trying to get this other guy that's my enemy, and I just noticed him on the street. So that's a great way to get people to bite. But I hope that answered your question. If you want some more clarification, let me know. I call your thought experiment daydream or zoning out while still doing whatever task I am doing. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I've had to like rewind podcasts or pause them and like come back to them because I've completely zoned them out as I was having my thought experiments. Keep your head up because inspiration can come from anywhere. That's right. I agree. Maybe on the way back from place F to get met up by someone from place A. Yeah, just connect it. John is a really free GM when it comes to things like that. He makes us want to go after his plot hooks. Pretty much, I try to. By the way, is that Brian? Brian? Is it you, Brian? Is that what the fool? Am I tripping? Is that you? But I appreciate that, buddy. If it is, I love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it is, right? I'm like, how the fuck do you know what kind of GM I am? Number one rule of GM advice: expect the players to do everything to ruin your story. You know what? I actually look forward to. All right, love you, buddy. I look forward to when the players do the unexpected because if things go the way that I plan, then it's boring to me. I love it when they totally screw things up or they make things more dangerous or consequences have to be introduced. I love doing that kind of stuff. What is this? I don't know. I was wondering if you'd figure it out. I mean, yeah, that is the Brian. What the fool? He plays Barry Ruth in my Wise Guys campaign. So there it is. Um, but yeah, that's it. I mean, if the players ruin my game, it's actually I look forward to that kind of stuff because I already know what to expect. I'm the game master. I have created the story and I know how things are going to go. So if everything goes according to my plan, it's a little bit boring. But if the players add their own uniqueness and creativity to it, then I know that I'm also coming to the table and not knowing how it's going to turn out. And there's going to be unexpected things happening. Maxfield Calloway says, how do you feel about high stakes? Normally, your and everyone else's games are just very personal and doing jobs. What about games where they're trying to stop a bomb going off and destroying the city? Yeah, that kind of high stakes stuff I would save for the final climactic moment of a season because that kind of stuff has to feel like, oh man, we did it. Let's take a break. Let's rest. Like, for example, my one on one campaign with my buddy Arnog for the last 3, 4, 5 sessions that we've been playing, he's had to go and kill an ex Arasaka assassin by the name of the Demon. And yesterday he went and killed her, and it was chaos, and one of his friends got arrested, and it was all kinds of craziness, and it felt like a high stakes moment, and that was a great way to end it. We ended it on there. We took a break and we were like, man, how awesome was that? How that turned out and everything. So high stakes are good. I don't like it to be every mission because then the final climactic mission just feels like any other mission or any other scenario. If it's the final climactic moment is a high stakes scenario, then it feels more. It gives it more life and more pizzazz. I don't know. I'm trying to find the word, but it gives it more umph, and that's what feels better. Zombie banana. Hold on. Let me take a sip. I talk a lot, man. Thanks, John. John. It seems you need to do more plot devices than locations themselves. I have battle map I'm setting up for. I should make sure I have a nice set of battle maps before I start. Actually, Zombie Banana, I would suggest that you practice theater of the mind more in just because of those scenarios. I'll give you an example. So I did a charity game where James Hutt, David from High Shelf Gaming, Taylor from Consave, and Driss the Knee Taker were my players. And the plot device, the what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to go to a bar, and from the bar they were going to get a clue to go to a steel mill where the final fight was going to be at a steel mill. There was going to be explosions. I had a beautiful battle map set up. Everything was good to go. Well, on the way to the steel mill, they intercepted like 90% of the combatants that were going to meet them at the steel mill, and they decided they wanted to ram them with their vehicle. Well, what could I have done? I could have made sure that those combatants got out of it clean. I could have like hand of God gone in there and said, "Oh yeah, they did. You hit a pothole, and blah blah blah." Oh, well, that's what happened. The combatants rolled a one on their drive, and they hit a pothole. So the players were like, "Okay, we rammed them," and it initiated combat. So I did theater of the mind combat right there. I didn't have a battle map. I didn't have anything. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I had them fight. And basically, what that ended up doing was when they got to the final scene of the steel mill, there was no final battle to be had because the battle, 90% of the combatants are dead. They're gone. So, what do I do? Do I add another? Do I just add in more people arbitrarily? No, they were creative. They figured out a way to give themselves an advantage at the final fight. So even though I didn't have a battle map and stuff set for that combat, nothing slowed down. They didn't even know that that happened. They just figured that this was all a part of the plan. But I made sure that I don't rely on one tool specifically. If I have to do theater of the mind, I'll do theater of the mind. If I have a battle map prepared, great, we'll use the battle map. If I don't let it stop me. I cannot let anything stop me from continuing to play and having fun. So I would recommend to you, Zombie Banana, is to do some experiments where you try out theater of the mind, try out combat, try out everything without having any kind of help from anywhere. No battle map, no um, character sheets for your NPCs. Just go flying blind and try to figure it out. That's a great way to figure things out. Nathan, what's going on? X'd out. How you doing? Perfect timing. Max, you should go back to the first Wise Guys game. By the end of it, we were in some pretty high stakes stuff. I agree. Hey everyone, smash that like button like Adam Smasher. Any fans of old CRPGs playing Baldur's Gate? Oh, I want to play that third one. I haven't tried it yet. Is giving them around three NPCs at the places they go to give them clues or rumors. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I call them guide NPCs. These are basically NPCs that you can communicate with the players through these NPCs. They don't make decisions, but you can't just tell the players like, "Hey, this is what you should probably do." Instead, you give them ideas of clues and hints and stuff like that. You know, I call them guide NPCs. But yeah, my number one advice to any game master is don't let any tool stop you from having a good time. Theater of the mind is there. Battle mats and battle maps are there. Don't let anything hold you back. Everything is supposed to be to enhance your gameplay, not hinder it. And there's no prerequisite for any of that stuff. Brian is a really good game master too. By the way, I haven't played any of his games, but he's super knowledgeable. Zombie, a trick I use as a DM is if I want to say, oh, jeez, it's my wife calling. Hold on 1 second, dudes. All right, sorry about that. Wife aggro. Yeah, no, wife just wanted to tell me something. I'm back. Let's see. Brian was saying fight with ganger thugs built out, but the group wants to invade a corpo building. Well, those gangers will end up reskinned into corpo guards. Yeah, reskinning NPCs is a great idea. Reskinning settings, reskinning places. If they were going to meet at a house and they went to the bar, well, the bar is the place that they're going to go now. If they were supposed to go to a bar and they went to a house, well, the house is the place that they're going to go now. So you just change things around. I'll take a look into doing more theater of mind and take notes of the NPC clue givers. Yep, that's good. Happy gaming, dude. Do you think that Cyberpunk 2020 could work without the future setting, like maybe playing a game in style of Tarantino or GTA? Cyberpunk 2020 had a bunch of crazy supplements. One of them was the Knight's Edge series, which took Cyberpunk 2020 and added werewolves and vampires and ghouls and demons and all kinds of weird shit like that. And then there was like a Call of Cthulhu style or Cthulhu Punk, I think is what it was called. It was a GURPS setting. It could easily be ported into Cyberpunk 2020. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2020, as long as there's people involved, it can work for that. I've seen even Seth Skorikowski, he did like a whole Cthulhu I believe, oh no, it was a zombie survival zombie apocalypse RPG using the Cyberpunk 2020 system. So yeah, I think it could work for anything. Battle maps and stuff didn't exist when Gary Gygax made D&D, so don't be afraid to try Theater of the Mind. Yeah, I agree, Twiggy. I think everybody should be proficient in, if you're going to be a game master, you should be proficient in all types of way of playing, because you don't want anything to limit your capabilities to have fun. Do theater of the mind, do battle mats, whatever you want to do. Everything has its strength, everything has its weakness. Virtual tabletops have its strengths, playing in person has its strengths, and they both have their weaknesses as well. So you should definitely use all the tools that you can get. I'll let her know you said hi, Brian. Thanks, dude. I've seen people use 2020 for Mad Max. Yep, about guide NPCs from X'd out. It's important to let the players decide which ones to listen to or take with them. Never force an NPC down the players' throats because you like them. Yeah, definitely the NPC is a supportive role. They should not be taking the limelight. They should not be in the spotlight. They should not be the most important character there. They should only talk every now and then. And they're really just there to guide the players on stuff that like meta knowledge. So there is this there's this phenomenon where I hadn't taken it into account in the beginning when I was a game master, and then I realized later there's things that your character knows that you as a player don't know because your character lives in that world. So there's things that are common knowledge to their character, and I'll even say to my characters, "Hey, this is common knowledge." Or my players, I'm sorry. I'll say, "Hey, your characters know this because this is common knowledge." So it might seem like I'm giving my players a free piece of information, but really what I'm doing is bridging the gap of what the character's knowledge is and what the player's knowledge is of the setting. And the guide NPC is a great way of doing that. They'll say stuff like, "Oh, Zeta Tech is in town." Huh, great. With all the shit that's been going on and the data that they've been trying to steal from people, data collection that they've been doing in the city, you would think that they would take a break. So what I just did there is I told the players a piece of knowledge about Zeta Tech that they didn't ask for, but that's something that their characters knew already because their characters are living in the world. And the NPC said it in a way like, man, how about them Zeta Techs, right? And that's pretty much exactly how I realized that you should be doing that kind of guide NPC stuff. I think Cyberpunk could work as a zombie survival game easily. Yep. Did that supplement actually include real werewolves, or was it? No, it was real werewolves, real vampires. They even added a new stat called Psycher or Psych or some Psi, I think is what it's called. So it has to do with like supernatural abilities and stuff like that. If you want to do investigation, take but which by the way, I've never run it and it seems okay. I might do like some kind of Halloween thing with it, but who knows. If you do want to do investigation, take away players' guns, then make them work against the cyber psycho. Yeah, I mean, taking away their guns and stuff like that. I don't like taking away things from the players. Instead, I'll do like, oh, I know you guys all have guns and weapons and all the cool stuff, but that's not going to save you in this situation, or it's not going to save you in that situation. Having a big, nasty, crazy gun and being a full board conversion in a room of 1,000 Arasaka cyber psycho security is not going to do anything for you. Um, that in that scenario, knowing the ins and outs of Arasaka's culture, on how they react, what they deem as respectful and disrespectful, that stuff will get you further along than the gun that you have at your in your holster. Let's see. I've been seeing a lot of talk around 3 round bursts. I know it's in the jumpstart kit, but remove for red. Just why is it so powerful? It's because it's the same mentality as auto fire from 2020, which the way auto fire works in 2020 is, let's say it's a DV 15 to hit a target and you roll a 20. That means five of the bullets, you subtract 20 from 15, it's five. Five bullets connect. I mean, if five bullets do 5d6 each, that's insane, right? For an assault rifle or something like that. And the burst fire pretty much does the same thing. It's three bullets instead of five, and three 5d6s are insane. That's like crazy amounts of damage to do in one turn. So that's why I can see why they kind of got away from the burst fire. To be honest with you, it's really hard. I sat there with my buddy Arnog and we tried to figure out a way to do auto fire. His is like a super convoluted way. He's like, you take this, divide it by two, round up, times whatever. I don't know. He had like all kinds of like calculations that you do, and he's like, it's fair, it works. And I'm like, Arnog, no one's gonna fucking remember that. That shit's way too convoluted. And he's like, well, I remember it. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. I've given up on it. Ask John about his ZTuber. I'm so old, dude. I don't know what that ZTuber shit is. I don't understand it. Because it ended up adding more D6s than intended. Yeah, that happened too. Mr. Welch had his players use pistols against assault rifles. They ran to get away from getting shot. Yeah, that's the other thing. Make sure you make sure your players know that running away is an option. That's something that the wise guys did, and I was like, holy shit. A 3 RB assault rifle with a good roll would do 76. Yeah, yeah. That's why they changed it. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, that's Cyberpunk for sure. I mean, look, that's Cyberpunk. Dying quickly is Cyberpunk. But I also think it sucks that you make this character, you roll a life path, and we make a whole campaign revolving around this character. And how did they die? Oh, they were in point blank range of someone with an assault rifle. Or it doesn't even have to be an assault rifle, it could be a 4d6 weapon, whatever it is. They're in point blank range of an auto fire weapon, and their character was deleted. I mean, yeah, that's Cyberpunk, but it definitely would just feel like the player would feel like, okay, well, I guess I had no say in this matter at all, no matter what kind of character I made. All right, how do you let your characters progress? We can add all the gear for them that they want to. What if they want to increase skills? You have improvement points for doing that. Just have them buy data chips. Maybe just add some after the player overcomes a challenge. Yeah, so other than improvement points, as far as like helping my character, my players, I do like implementing old school D&D style stuff. What I mean by that is like a +1 sword, +2 sword, or +1 dagger. What that basically does is it just gives them it's like, oh, the sword that you have with you is less powerful than this sword, so take this sword. But in the setting of Cyberpunk, the way I do it is, like, let's say for Blackadder, my netrunner, he found a cyber deck that gave him +1 interface, but it gave him -1 speed, because, or -1 move, because it was a bulky, big cyber deck. It's like an old one. So what I did is I gave him something, but I took away something else. And I felt like, okay, that's a little bit fair and it's narrative and it's a cool way of giving him an upgrade for his character. That's not something that's in the book. It's a homebrew thing. The book actually doesn't even tell you you can do something like that. That's just something that I like to implement because I agree with you. There should be other ways that players can better themselves other than cyberware and weapons and gear and improvement points. I mean, once you have an assault rifle and an armor jack, why would you need anything else? Why would you need any other armor bigger than that is going to be too bulky. It's going to mess with your stats. Any other weapon other than your assault rifle is going to be an exotic weapon, and it's only going to be slightly better, unless it's that fucking mono 3 katana or railgun crazy psycho gun. So yeah, so there isn't really that many options for character progression in Cyberpunk, in my opinion. So it's good to add them. The old weapon allowance bonus, basically. Yeah, stuff like that. Weapon aim, I believe is what it was called. Weapon aim. I found the template booster gang is quite powerful with 10. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Spotty connection. Um, 10 handgun skill and a very heavy pistol. Yeah, 10 handgun skill is pretty insane. I don't think I would ever do that for against my players. At least against starting players to keep them this strong and accept the punishing nature. I might throw one or two of those bad guys because even though a starting character is still pretty powerful, they'll hit their weapons. If their weapons hit, they do damage. So I make sure that the enemies are a little bit like around the same power level as the players, but I might throw in a high power level enemy just to mix things up and to remind them that there are other high powered enemies out there. Especially if they get really comfortable like going around killing everything, you got to throw a little bit of a challenge at them to make them realize like and remember that oh yeah, there's motherfuckers out there, you know? You're a motherfucker too, but there's some real motherfuckers out there that don't give a shit about your character and will kill you on a whim. So it's good to like remind them of that every now and then. I don't think that you should actively try to kill your characters unless um that's something that you and your players agree on, like you have some kind of friendly competition. But for the most part, I don't think you should be actively trying to kill your players. I think you should let the dice, the game, and the story offer a chance where death is an opportunity that or death is a consequence, but it's not something that I'm actively seeking out. I like those kind of DM items. Now I can't wait to see what kind of homebrew you make. Oh yeah, there's no rules. It's partially when I want why I want Black Chrome to go over customized and varied weapons, armor, and attachments. Yeah, I haven't fully made like a homebrew list of items because they announced Black Chrome. So basically, after Black Chrome comes out, I'll read it, I'll dissect it, and if I feel like it's missing something, I'll start doing my homebrew items. But basically, I don't want to start making homebrew items and then that Black Chrome book comes out and pretty much negates a bunch of items that I gave to my players or makes them obsolete and kind of muddies things. So I'm waiting. It's fine. I can throw homebrew things here and there, but I haven't made like a concise list of stuff. And that's something that I did want to do. It'll also be cool to be able to have like some kind of loot table that I can offer my players once they kill enemies and be able to find loot off of them. I don't usually like the idea of picking up loot and stuff like that. I feel like it's kind of boring and lame. If I want to do like a loot generator game, I would play Diablo or Path of Exile or Fallout or Skyrim. Those are all video games that have loot, and loot is a central focus in the game. But Cyberpunk, in my opinion, is a game about telling stories, is about survival, and that's pretty much it. Loot and stuff like that is just like a secondary part of it. Some people like to focus on it. I don't know. I'm not really the type that likes to focus on that stuff. But Black Chrome will be good. It's awesome. It's great to know. I like the second part of what Black Chrome is going to be. They didn't just say, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a book about stuff." It's not just a book about stuff. It's a book about stuff and how to get it, and that's important. It's important to know how the world works in Cyberpunk. That's a fun thing to do. All right. Wow. If you guys have any more questions, shoot them. I'm here. I love chatting Cyberpunk with you guys. As you can tell, I can fucking chat for hours. You know what? I don't know why I'm holding my phone. If I could just do something like this. Is there like a... I should get a stand or something, huh? Let's see here. Does that work? Yeah, that works. Perfect. This thing right here is a little bit distracting, though. Let me just move it. Move the phone slightly. All right, it's not that bad. It's not centered, though. So, yeah. From this angle, I look fat as fuck, though. Which I'm not. I've been dieting. I've lost 7 pounds already. Counting calories is the only thing that works, in my opinion. All those other diets and stuff like that, they're just fads. Okay, no, I don't like this angle because it's not centered. So I'll just put it right here. All right. Is the chat working? Everything working? Because I know I just disconnected. Let me see here. All messages visible. Okay, there we go. Everything went away for some reason. Wow. Yeah, I missed all this stuff. Sorry about that. The number one rule of TTRPGs is that it's your game and your rules to do what you want. I agree. Yeah, lag again. All right, Maxfield. See you later, man. Take care. Hope they add more weapon attachments. I can serious thing quite a few that would be neat. Yeah, like vertical grips, reflex sights, collapsible stock. I mean, there's all kinds of cool real life attachments. I mean, like stuff like a vertical grip is a no brainer. Weapon stability, so +1 to hit, or reflex sight, same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Thinking of allowing player character critical successes on weapon skills equal critical hits for NPCs, have them roll damage and check for criticals raw. What do you think? I think that's cool, but I think that you're nerfing enemies if you don't also give them that. It's that general rule where like if you have it, the enemies have it too. So it's like if you want to use an assault rifle, then the enemies will have assault rifles. If you want to crit on 10%, then the enemies will crit on 10%, because that's basically what the 2 6s does is like if you roll a 10, rolling a 10 on a 10-sided die is a 10% chance. Rolling 2 6s on a 3d6, 4d6, 5d6 is a different scenario, right? So that's basically what the mentality was. It's all about chance of critical injury. Because of how powerful critical injuries are, I would be really careful. I would do some testing first to see how that feels, because a 10% chance to critically injure somebody, whether they're a player or an NPC, is pretty hardcore. Don't want to feel like Power Rangers fighting putties. I know, man. How crazy was that shit? Gotcha. Every now and then, if they mess around too much, throw Militech at them. Yeah, you gotta throw Militech at them. I'm hoping Black Chrome adds a lot because base red is a bit generic. Yeah, I agree. Black Chrome is the first supplement. Yep, that's the first one coming out. We have a couple fun techie made weapons showing up. Yeah, I'm excited to see what those techie weapons are gonna do. I'm excited to see if they're gonna break the game or not that much. Either way, it's fun. I like that we were able to do it. How does pop-up weapons work? Can you use them from the pop-up, or do you grab the weapon from the pop-up? Just not sure how it works. As far as I can tell, Steven, it popped up and then you can be used just like that. It basically negates the cost, the action cost of pulling out another weapon. So dropping a weapon costs no action, but pulling out a weapon costs an action unless you have a pop-up gun, which you can drop the weapon and pop up the gun at the same time. So basically, you're saving yourself an action to be able to do that. That's the only thing that it is. Oh, also, it's concealable. So you can conceal something that's normally not concealable. You could conceal it in your holster or pop up holster or whatever, which is really handy if you're going into a scenario where people are trying to see if you have weapons and stuff like that. What kind of car do you drive? I'm seeing a lot of headroom. This isn't actually my car. It's my father-in-law's car. It's a Suburban or something like that. Explorer, Ford Explorer, something like that. Where are you that there are palm trees, but it's cold enough to wear a hoodie? LA, baby, Los Angeles. It's so weird. Make one. Adam Savage made some phone camera mounts on tested. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get something like that. I guess if I'm gonna be continuing to do this every week. I've thought of it like it just pops out of your arm. You don't hold it. It's part of your body. Yeah, no problem. There you go. Let's see. Of course, wrist pistols. I'm in Phoenix, so I'd be freezing too. Nice. Arizona, baby. Central New York, and it was 20 degrees last week. Ugh, fuck that. When converting stats for an enemy from Cyberpunk 2020, they all seem far more powerful than they would in red. Do you find this to be the case? Yeah, Palooka, I do. That's because Cyberpunk 2020 was like a gun porn power player's dream. And we were just talking about it earlier. Like stuff like auto fire and burst fire is so deadly that you need to have no limitations to what your characters can do. And it was really great for power players, like starting from the beginning up of like, oh, I just want to have tens in all my stats. I want to have tens in all my skills. I want to go around and be a badass and killing everybody. What kind of phone do you have? Pixel 3 is what it is, or Pixel 4. Pixel 4 XL. I think that's what it is. I decided that if I'm going to be using an Android phone, that I should use one from Google because Google invented Android, or they're behind the whole Android thing. So why not go with them? Do I regret it? Not really. Slightly. This phone kind of sucks. The original Pixel was what I was using that I really liked, and this Pixel is kind of lame. But whatever. I mean, it does the job. I'm not. I just don't want an iPhone. That's for sure. What do you think? Uh, they capped stats at 8 in red. It makes me crazy since starting characters feel like Avengers in training. No, man, starting characters, in my opinion, are still really, really powerful. I've gone through entire campaigns without my players ever feeling like they were weak or anything like that. They always felt like they were strong. But if you let everybody just do tens and everything, then where's the ceiling? You know what I mean? What differentiates them from the elite? You got to have something that they're not supposed to be able to accomplish, but they do accomplish, giving them that sense that they overcame something. If you just make them all powerful and they kill 30 guys without breaking a sweat, then it's like, okay, they were supposed to do that. I mean, they're all powerful. Why should we feel like this is a cool thing? Some people like to explore that power play and do that. I like the struggle of not being able to, of not knowing whether you're going to be able to make it out of the situation. Not the fact that you can't, but the fact that you don't know if you're going to be able to make it through the situation. $10 from Nihilus Astalan. Got to bounce by two more coffees and dual wield them. Double coffee power. Love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I really appreciate the donation, man. Take care, dude. Love you. I've been so happy since I moved from Riverside. Oh yeah, to Pennsylvania, with a below freezing winter and having my window fan going along my ceiling or fan and a personal box fan. Oh, nice. That's cool, man. Riverside's awesome. I've been there a few times. Near perfect human beings. Here's them out. I only give 50 points for stats most of the time, but every NPC is kind of the same, stats wise. Ricky Ricardo, what's going on? Is that the Chinese and Puerto Rican flag? What's the second flag? I don't recognize it. Is that the Chinese flag? I'm not sure, dude. I'm terrible with flags. I'm horrible with those flags. It looks like Chinese or Turkish and Puerto Rican. I'm not sure. Maybe someone in chat can call in. Um, but yeah, I love the limitation for character creation. That's something that I was doing with my personal 2020 games anyway, and ended up being like the bad guy because I was telling my players like, "Oh yeah, you got to be limited to what stats and skills you take, or else this isn't going to be fun." And then they would look at the book, and the book has no such kind. Message retracted. Well, that's the Mexican flag. Okay. Uh, so bienvenidos. And that's pretty much it. Let's see what's going on over here. Is there any other burning questions in chat? If not, I might actually end this a little bit early because I do have to do a little bit of errands. But if you guys have something that you wanted to discuss, uh, you look ugly. Okay, thanks, dude. Yeah, letting players just get max stats is kind of lame because there's no reason to advance. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. You got to give them some kind of sense of accomplishment or something like that. If you don't, then it really feels like they don't have anything to look forward to. They got to have something. You got to have that oh shit factor, right? You got to have that factor where you show up to they show up to a situation and they don't and you show them like a really powerful enemy and they go, "Oh shit, man. Oh no. Oh fucking no." This it's that thing. Like for example, in my wise guy, which by the way, don't pay attention to this loser. He's an idiot. Who cares? Who comes on to a live chat and talks shit like that? He's obviously a no brain loser. But anyway, in my Wise Guys campaign, they had robbed a Merc bar, and I had the owner of the Merc bar be a corporate, and the corporate decided, oh, okay, well, now I got to get revenge. Whoever these people are, I got to send a hit squad after them. So I had to make sure that there was consequences because they didn't have to rob the Merc bar. They were there for another reason. They were there for something else. So when they robbed the Merc bar, it was kind of just like a cherry on top of all the bullshit that they shot up the Merc bar and they robbed it. So I was like, okay, there has to be some kind of consequences. So I decided a van with a minigun mounted in it, like the door was gonna open, minigun out, was gonna start blasting these dudes, and they were gonna get ambushed. So my players literally all they could do was run away. That's it. They could only run away. And I didn't think that they would run away. I was afraid that I was going to kill them with this combat encounter. But what ended up happening was they decided, dude, let's get the fuck out of here. There's no reason for us to be here and get shot by a minigun. And they ran away. And that was the oh shit factor. If this was Cyberpunk 2020, they have tens in all their stats, tens in all their skills, they'd be like, "Oh, a minigun? Awesome. Let's see what we can do against this. Let's try this shit out." But because they have starting characters or there were some kind of limitations to their characters, they realize like I don't care how powerful and strong I am, there's nothing I can do about this combat encounter. Don't worry guys, I'll ban this dumb fuck. You put user in timeout. You're in timeout, child. You have to have a oh shit factor because if everyone is just maxed out, then they won't feel challenged and it will get boring fast. Even D&D players with all 18s get scared. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ha, look at him. He's trying to post. He's trying to talk, but I have him in timeout. Go stand in the corner in your timeout, Ricky Ricardo, okay? And you think about what you've done. And no supper for you tonight. So yeah, I put him in timeout. How fun is that? But yeah, the oh shit factor is great. The oh shit factor is actually one of those things that I look forward to as a game master. When you drop it on your players and then their eyes open wide and they go, "Oh my god, no way." Yeah, no borscht for him. No soup for you, no supper. Okay. And you got to mow the lawn. You got to take out the trash. All right, I'm back. Cyber attack. Yeah, Ricky Ricardo attacked me. Maybe I shouldn't have talked shit, huh? He cyber attacked my live stream. Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for me. I'm gonna go do some errands. I gotta do some stuff. I really appreciate this. I love connecting with you guys on these chats. It's really fun, and I really appreciate this community. I love you guys. Love my Patreon folks. I cannot wait to give you guys more stuff. We will see you guys on the next one next Monday. Uh, yeah, next week, Monday, I'll be back. We'll do this again. Have questions ready and prepared because I'm more than willing to give you guys answers. I love talking about Cyberpunk with you all. And you too, Bronx. Have a good day. Eric, X Stout, Zombie, Twiggy, everybody in chat. Love you guys. Titanic, Steven, Palooka. Have a wonderful day and stay safe. All right? Take care.